Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We are coming to you from Chicopee, Massachusetts. I am your host, Carrie, and joining me is Holyoke's very own local historian and creator of the historical tours of Greater Holyoke, Robert Camus. He offers both public and private tours, as well as presentations of the local canal systems, reservoirs, cemeteries, and churches, as well as various parks and streets in Holyoke, South Hadley, and Chicopee, Mass. Now you actually lead these tours and give these presentations yourself, is that correct?
That's right. I'd love to have developed this mill series.
And today he'll be educating us on the Wauregan paper mill. So tell us about the Wauregan paper mill.
This paper mill is found on Dwight Street of Holyoke. It was made in 1869 and was going full blast very soon thereafter. It was a fine paper mill, which means that it's the kind of paper you would want to write special letters to people. It would have some colored tint to it, usually. It would have a beautiful letterhead of symbolic imagery, so forth. This is the kind of paper people love to write letters to. Every day they'd write new letters to someone else. The stamps would only cost 3 cents. The paper itself with the envelope would probably be another penny. And they could write to their heart content to any relative or friend they would want to. And this is the great age of letter writing during the 1800s. Letters were written constantly. Remember, there's no other form of communication if you're not in personal touch with a person. So this was it. So the Wauregan, developed by James Newton, the founder and the owner, and then his family, developed this paper mill to the very highest level. The mill was such that it was one of the many paper mills around Holyoke. James Newton was a person, with his other 3 brothers, developed many things around Holyoke, including they would construct mills, they would run the mills, they would finance the mills for other owners. They were probably the most important family in history of Holyoke, this Newton family. Now, the Wauregan paper mill is constructed so pretty much everything that was there is still there, even all these years later. And what was there was, first, when you're looking at the parking lot of the Wauregan, that's the original. That's where the horses of the workers or the horse and buggy of the owner are located. So that space in front is doing the same job. When you look into it, there's 3 buildings from left to right. The middle building was used as a stock house and a sales house where they could sell the paper themselves if they really wanted to, or distribute the paper. And the second floor was stock room and some administration. When you look to its left, there's an original building there which had some production on each floor. 2 floors were there. In the back, there's a walkway, which is an original wooden walkway. I'm not sure it's still functioning, but it's still there. Also in the back, there's a connected piece between the 3 parts, and that was where some production happened. On the 3rd floor, that would be the pickers. People would pick through rags, because this fine paper was made out of cotton, which is the highest quality paper you could have. And then you come down, you'd have the spin room, and then you come down, and you'd have the room where the paper was being produced. The engine room was also back there, of course, in the basement, using the first level canal's water going to the second level canal. Now, the rightmost portion was very similar to that back portion. You'd have a pick room on the top of each one on the right, and then going down, you'd have a production floor, and then going downwards, you have a drying floor, a cotton floor, so forth. So this was a very sophisticated mill.
So tell us about the founder and owner, James Newton, and his family.
All right, James Newton, he settled in Holyoke about 1864 as a general manager for one of the mills and making his own mills. He had enough money to build up right away. He made his money up building railroads and tunnels, so forth. And he came to Holyoke and started investing even more. And what he made along the way was a house for himself on 159 Chestnut Street, 159 Chestnut Street, and that was built in 1868, the year before he started his mill. So he's already had a mill before this. And the Newton family James Newton family lived in that 159 Chestnut Street from the year 68 until the year 1910, when they moved up to Pinehurst Road. And this owner, he kept the family business going. He had his sons work at his Wauregan as managers, treasurers, secretaries, and they developed as the firm developed. Now, the most important thing with the Newton family to remember is that it was vast. What they controlled and what they gave out for money to other business owners was incredible. They were Holyoke's financiers in the beginning because they had so much money. They would support William Skinner, Far Alpaca. They would build mills like the Albion. They would own mills like the Chemical, the Newton, the Norman, so forth. So it was a vast, and this is just one part of it, this Wauregan.
So quickly before we continue with the rest of our interview, just to fill our listeners in, if you want to find out more information or want to sign up for any of his various tours, you can check out his website at holyokecanaltour.org. And there he has both videos of the various stops along each tour and also past and present photos of the historical sites throughout as well. And if you are interested in setting up a private tour, you can email him directly at bobcat4214B@yahoo.com. And they're perfect for fun and educational outdoor activities for the whole family or for your group parties, especially those special occasions and get-togethers. They are also good just for getting outdoors for the day. So getting back to our interview, how did the Wauregan fit into the grand scheme of paper mills in Holyoke?
All right, it was one of many paper mills, and this was why Holyoke would become called the paper city. It was a vast collection of many mills, and all these mills combined for the greatest paper production in the world by far. It might have made 50% of all the paper needs of the nation, at least. And the Wauregan was not even the only one of the Newton family's paper mills. They had many more, and I've mentioned a few along the way, but they all made different things. Sure, the Wauregan made fine writing paper that was tinted different colors, but there would be other paper companies, such as the Albion, which made book paper and colored paper, and the Crocker, which made colored paper, and the New Valley, which made ordinary paper, and then the Newton mill that made cardboard, and the chemical paper company that made very fine paper in other ways. That's why they call it chemical. It was a chemical process. So all these paper companies and many more combined to make Holyoke the great paper city that it was. It hasn't produced paper in about 20 years, and still is paper associated with the city. For instance, one of the mills, Sunoco, takes used paper and makes it into cardboard support products. So they're still around. In Hampton, until last year, made paper such as holographic images on paper. And so this has continued and has been this way for about 170 years now.
And so what has the Wauregan changed into?
All right, it has changed into what is now a restaurant. The famed restaurant moved in there a couple of years ago, and they're trying hard to establish themselves, and they're very supportive of the community. I see that they donate to Holyoke's dedication ceremony. They donated the food, and other ceremonies I see they come in. So it's a fine place, and I'm glad that it's worthy of the company that before them, the Wauregan paper mill, would have appreciated this because James Newton himself was very dedicated to Holyoke. He became a banker, and he became a person that would donate to every charity you could think of. He would donate to the Holyoke Hospital. He would donate to the Holyoke Library. He would donate constantly because he knew that if his community was able to prosper and grow, that his businesses would grow. So they combined together to make a great city and a great nation. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Robert, for educating us on your tours. And we want to thank our listeners for tuning in. You can also tune into a large selection of our other podcasts and much more at his website. Again, that's holyokecanaltour.org. And again, you can email him directly for private tours or to inquire about anything else at bobcat4214, capital B, at yahoo.com. And be sure to keep an eye out for his upcoming 2024 season tours and more as they become available. Thank you for tuning in.